Spain is going to win the World Cup. So, this is not a prediction. This is my author take on what I think is the story being told. Now, let me take you back to the moment that I started to question, hang on, is there a narrative being told? It was the Egypt versus Argentina game. So, if you follow the World Cup, you already know that was a very contentious game. There was a lot of controversy about some of the calls. Now, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and so forth. There's plenty of videos out there already about that. What I am going to do is I'm just going to walk you through some facts and some numbers, especially with my background. I have a major in pure maths and chemistry. So if I wear my science and maths hat, let's have a look at just some facts and some patterns. So Argentina are the current number one team in the world when it comes to soccer, because they are a very good team. They won the last World Cup 4 years ago, but interestingly, their group stage games, so the first three games that they were drawn to do, all their opponents are not even in the top 15. Secondly, all their games in that initial group stage were in Central America. So Kansas City and Dallas, they're only about an hour flight apart. So that compared to some other teams where they're having to fly coast to coast, having to fly across to another country like Canada or Mexico. So you can just imagine the physical sort of strain on the body, especially as a professional athlete. Next, 2 out of their 3 initial games were actually at night, only 1 in the middle of the day. So right now it's summer, and honestly, it's hot. Like, try just walking in 30 plus degree heat, let alone humid weather like in Miami. Now, this next one's quite a big one. So, if you look at the stats of the fouls that every team has made compared to the number of cards they've been given, interestingly, Argentina comes up at the top, as in the whole tournament so far, they've committed 58 fouls, but they've only been given 3 cards and 3 yellow cards, not red, that would take you out of the game, even though many would argue there's been multiple instances where they probably should have gotten a red card. So that's roughly 1 card per 22 fouls. So let's compare that to their most recent opponent, England. So England has received 1 card per 7 fouls. So like I said, not going to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, like, some people argue it might be match fixing. But hey, another argument could be that Argentina has one of the best players in the world, beloved all over the world, Messi. So maybe it's a little bit of unconscious bias. Like, this could be Messi's last World Cup. Now, if I go back to that particular Egypt game, that really made me start to sort of look at things a little bit closer is the Egypt team actually did end up filing a formal complaint about the inconsistency with the refereeing. Although, of course, there are arguments on the other side. So FIFA's refereeing chief Kalina, he stood by the VAR call. But the thing about that particular game and that particular call is a lot of neutral supporters, so people who aren't Egypt supporters necessarily, when you ask the question, if it was the other way around, if it was Argentina that made that play, that got that goal, would there have been a review and a removal of that goal? Without hesitation, everyone will say yes. And sure enough, when you look at following games, it can be argued that that's what we've seen. So as an author and writer, you can't help looking at the narrative and the story being told, which is, let's give Argentina a fairly easy path to the grand final. And hey, maybe at the end of the day, it is about money because they probably have among the most supporters, not just people from Argentina, but because of their famous star player Messi. But yes, I did say I think Spain is going to win, not Argentina. And this is why. As a author and storyteller, you're not going to write the predictable ending. You're going to write an ending that will surprise and shock and delight. So let me take you back to that photo that I showed you at the very start. So that is actually a photo of Messi 19 years ago. He is holding Lamine Yamal, who is the star player for Spain, who is 19. He just turned 19. So imagine this story of Argentina with the veteran player, the star player, who people argue is the current world's best soccer player. He gets to the final. Maybe this is his last World Cup. Maybe he'll retire. We get to see him play for the last time. And he's going to verse the baby he held 19 years ago. Who would have thought, who would become a star player that a lot of people say will be the next star player for the future. So wouldn't it make more sense that the more surprising and amazing ending is for Spain to win? So it's like the passing of the baton from Messi to Lamine. So that is why I think Spain is going to win. So now when you watch the final, maybe look at it from a writing perspective and what is the story that is being told and what is the ending that will be more satisfying.